In this video, I'll show you guys how to fix a unique that has really good affixes, but unfortunately roll with a terrible unique power. So if you ever get a unique with multiple greater affixes, or even a nearly perfect item, but the unique power at the bottom roll extremely low, do not salvage it yet, because you can actually reroll that unique power until you get the percentage you want, potentially all the way to a perfect max roll. But before we continue, this video is sponsored by Easy Buff. You can easily buff your character with gold, runes, gems, boss material, and many more. Check out easybuff.com with a 4.9 star rating on Trustpilot. The link is in the description and use code DCSK at checkout to get 8% off your order for a limited time. To do this, we are going to use the Horadric Cube and the unique power reroll recipe. This recipe only rerolls the numerical values of the unique power itself. It does not change the unique into another power, and most importantly, it does not reroll all your normal affixes or greater affixes. So for example, if your unique power can roll between 75% and 90%, but your item only rolls 77%, you can use this recipe to reroll that number again. You might get 79%, 85%, 88%, or if you are lucky, the perfect 90%. But remember, the result is completely random. Your new roll can also become worse than your current one. So if you already have a pretty high roll, make sure you are willing to take that risk before rerolling. Each attempt requires 1 attuned primordial dust and 100 raw primordial dust. And because you may need to reroll multiple times before getting that perfect percentage, you are going to need quite a lot of this material. So now let me show you guys the fastest way to farm both of them. Let's start with the hardest one, attuned primordial dust. For this material, the best targeted farming method is through Nightmare Dungeons using the Fearless Conviction node from your Nightmare Dungeon war plan. Fearless Conviction is extremely important because killing elites and champions builds conviction during the dungeon. Make sure to pick up the conviction they drop when they die. These appear as glowing green orbs. After completing the dungeon, you will receive a conviction chest at the end of the run. The more conviction you can maintain until the end, the better the rewards from that chest, including a higher chance of getting attuned primordial dust. So instead of rushing straight through the dungeon and only killing the boss, make sure you kill as many elites and champions as possible. And with Gauntlet, while you have a shrine buff active, focus on killing as many elites as possible. When the shrine buff expires, all enemies you kill while it was active will respawn, allowing you to kill them again and gain additional conviction. There is another warplan node that works extremely well together with this, which is Nemesis. Nemesis can cause shrine to spawn additional elites, which means more elite kills, more chances for cube material, and most importantly, more conviction for your Fearless Conviction chest. One very important thing with Fearless Conviction, try not to get hit too much by elites and champions, because getting hit can reduce your conviction. So kill everything quickly, maintain as much conviction as possible, complete the dungeon and open the conviction chest, then repeat. If you have escalating nightmare dungeons available, I would recommend farming those instead of normal nightmare dungeons because you can get even more positive dungeon affixes and material rewards as you progress through the escalation. While farming, try to prioritize material reserve affixes whenever possible. With material reserve active, Horadric chests inside the dungeon have a chance to drop attuned primordial dust, and completing the dungeon also has an additional chance to reward attuned primordial dust. This is currently one of the best targeted ways to farm attuned primordial dust. In fact, while you are farming attuned primordial dust, you are also passively collecting raw primordial dust, since elites can drop it as well. Now let's move on to raw primordial dust, and luckily, this one is much easier to farm. If you already have Tribute of Ingenuity, especially a greater Tribute of Ingenuity, then Curious Undercity is one of the fastest way to farm huge amounts of raw primordial dust, and a chance of attuned primordial dust too. Simply use your Tribute of Ingenuity, bargain is optional, enter the Undercity, reach the required attunement level, complete the run, and collect your cube material rewards at the end. To make it even better, unlock the Gutter Filth node in the Undercity skill tree. Whenever you activate a beacon inside the Undercity, there is a small chance to summon a Portal Prankster. Slaying them increases your final rewards while also boosting the drop rate of raw primordial dust and other rewards as well, including attuned primordial dust. The more portal pranksters you defeat, the greater the amount of raw primordial dust you will receive, often ranging from 2000 to 4000 per run. So even after you have maxed out your attunement rank, don't rush to the final floor. Keep activating any remaining speakers and actively hunt down portal pranksters for extra rewards. A good greater tribute of ingenuity run can already provide a massive amount of raw primordial dust in just a few minutes, potentially enough to fill multiple unique power rerolls. So if you have plenty of these tributes saved up, this is definitely the method I would use first. However, tributes are consumable, so eventually you may run out of them. If you don't have any tribute of ingenuity, then your next best option is going back into escalating nightmare dungeons and looking for the material reserve affix. Material reserve increases the amount of material you can obtain inside the dungeon, and if you are lucky enough to get material reserve again on the second or third dungeon of an escalation, the rewards become even better. At this point, unlock branching pathways, which spawns 2 additional Horadric portals, giving you a choice of 3 total. This allows you to get better target specific reward affixes and choose both your next modifier and reward type. If your goal is to farm primordial dust, prioritize selecting the material reserve affix whenever it appears. Otherwise, choose the best affix available. So make sure you don't just speedrun directly to the boss, explore the dungeon, kill the elites, and open all of the Horadric chests you find along the way. And because we are already using Fearless Conviction, Gauntlet, and Nemesis to farm attuned primordial dust, you can actually farm both materials at the same time. So the farming setup I recommend is very simple. Use Fearless Conviction for attuned primordial dust, add Gauntlet and Nemesis nodes, run escalating nightmare dungeons, and whenever you see material reserve, choose it for more raw and attuned primordial dust. Then whenever you have Tribute of Ingenuity available, switch over to Curious Undercity and burn through those tributes for a huge boost of raw primordial dust. Once you have enough material, head back to the Horadric Cube, place your unit inside, select unique power reroll, spend 1 attuned primordial dust and 100 raw primordial dust, and keep rerolling until you get the perfect percentage you are looking for. So the next time you find an amazing unique with a perfect greater affixes with a terrible unique power roll, don't immediately throw it away. The item itself might already be almost perfect. All you need to do is fix that final unique power percentage. And with these farming methods, you can keep collecting attunement primordial dust, raw primordial dust, and other useful primordial dust as well. Reroll the power again and again, and eventually turn that almost perfect unit into a truly perfect one. If this guide helped you out, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more Diablo 4 guide, farming methods, and useful tips. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.